What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and as always, I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer your questions in yet another enticing, spicy, yet crunchy episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And this question comes from Tin Man 40,000. I think we talked on Facebook, which is kind of cool because now I could put a face, a thumbnail to just a word. He asks, do living saints feel the uncomfortable powers of of blanks?
That's the Nurgle in you.
Yeah, I'm getting a little sick. It's the corona. That's a good question. So for all those that don't know, like the blanks are just humans that have the pariah gene, and the pariah gene nullifies the warp.
Right. Think of like Shadow of the Warp, but not as tyranny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect community. Well, I guess it does affect communication.
Yeah.
Basically, you just feel uneasy when you're around this person. It's kind of like that one kid that used to hang out with that used to eat his boogers, but as he grew up, he stopped eating his boogers, but now it just smelled really bad. So basically, that's what blanks are.
Yeah.
And the living saints are essentially demons of God, or
the Emperor.
Yeah. Yes, they have a lot of psychic powers and they have a lot of psychic might. And would those two cancel out? I don't think so. I think the living saints actually have their power as psychers is so much more than what the blank can put out that it's difficult for them it's difficult for one blank to affect a living saint.
Right.
The best example of this is actually in the new 9th edition codex where they talk about mutants.
The codex or the rule book?
The rule book, sure. Sorry, the rule book. In the new rule book, the lore section talks about how after the Great Rift opened up, so the Cicatrice Maledictum, there were way more psychers. And now the Sisters of Silence, which usually patrol the galaxy and collect psychers to go sacrifice to the Emperor, and they're the ones in charge of the black ships. That's basically the transportation for these psychers. They're having difficulty actually maintaining control of those black ships.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because of the psychic might that is coming out. So I imagine a living saint is is way more powerful than a mutant that comes out of an untrained mutant that comes from like the Great Rifts manifestations of the warp.
Yeah, think of it kind of like a dam. How the pariah, the blank, the Sister of Silence is that dam, and it's meant to hold back the water, which is the might of a psyker. It's like eventually, little by little, it's gonna erode away. And now that the Cicatrix Maledictum opened up, it's like a whole rush of water, and they can't really handle all that.
Yeah, so like a really powerful psyker, like a living saint, is basically like the Hoover Dam, and then, well, not the dam, but the water behind it, and then the blank would be like a beaver dam. Obviously, it's just going to destroy it, because beavers are bad for neighborhoods. Apparently.
Yeah, that's what our...
friend?
Yeah, pest control friend says.
Yes, he kills beaver dams.
The dams, not the beavers.
Yeah. Well, he should. If I got a hold of some beaver bones and I scrimshawed them with some Dorn quotes, would you guys buy them?
Like what quote would it be? Like, give me one real cool. Say I got a beaver skull. What's gonna go right on the forehead?
So something simple like "For the Emperor" or the Aquila on the beaver's head. Would you guys buy that? Because I have a Dremel tool and I have beavers. I just need the skulls.
This next question is by Gofaria Rebels. Beavers, golfers, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Which faction has the weirdest or strangest name to have or to say?
I have trouble with all of them. I can't speak.
It's like learning 40K names is like learning a whole new language. Like, I'm 100% sure nobody knew the correct way to pronounce Rebooting.
Yeah.
Like,
even like big names within like the 40K world, they say it weird.
Especially the greater demons of Zeech. It's just, here's a bunch of letters and apostrophes.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even pronounce that?
I think the top one is definitely that one. Tzeentch, Greater Demons of Tzeentch is the hardest to pronounce. For the longest time, I had difficulty pronouncing the Adeptus Mechanicus guns, but my English just got a little bit better. But it is cool to like read something in a codex or read something in the lore, and then later on, you hear it in another place, and you're like, oh, that's where GW got that from.
Yeah,
it's
like
cool.
Crossing the Rubicon.
Yeah,
You're just sitting watching the History Channel, and it's like, wait, what?
Gilliman? Indomitus Crusade? This question comes from West Hemies 117. Do you think Chuck Norris is a lost Primarch? No, that meme is kind of old.
Yeah. As like Chuck Norris comes in and punches you.
Yep. Arch.
Yeah. No, I mean, because if he was a lost Primarch, we know where he's at, so he wouldn't be lost.
Now the Rock, on the other hand.
La Piedra.
That guy.
Mm-hmm. Not Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
The Rock. From SpongeBob.
But yeah, that'd be I think The Rock in general just fits the 40K-ness.
I think, though, this might be unpopular, but I think whenever The Rock touches any type of franchise, it devalues it from being a serious franchise.
Yeah, because he's been in so much.
Yeah, and I think, because, like, let's say the guy who made the Astarte movie, or short, gets a contract for some reason to create a really badass movie. I feel like my expectation would be something deeper, something like grander. But then if somebody says, and he casted The Rock, then I'll be like, okay. So it's like a popcorn type of like, let's see what happens.
It's like, you're not there to watch the movie, you're there to watch The Rock.
Yeah. To laugh at The Rock.
Yeah.
In a good way.
And he has to be wearing his trademark, like, brown button-up. He's got, like, some khakis on or something. Like in Jumanji.
Just like Jumanji.
Or like in Rampage.
Which are the same movies.
Essentially, yeah. 40K is becoming Jumanji.
Basically.
This next one is by Ty Shingleton. Will they bring the Skaven into 40K? I feel like an army of ratmen would be great auxiliaries for a Nurgle-themed army. I mean, that's basically what they are in Age of Sigmar. They're very Nurgly, but they're apart from chaos. I don't know. I like the horned rat aesthetic, like their gods and like the shamans and stuff like that.
Yep.
I don't know how that would work in 40K because it'd be very similar to like how you're saying Nurgle, and I think adding another Nurgle thing to it would be too much because you don't really see other factions double dipping into chaos, as cool as that might be. So if they were into 40K, I think they'd have to be their own thing.
And their niche is already filled by chaos and even Tyranids. I feel like the whole horde mentality and like just consuming everything or corrupting everything, that's Tyranids and that's chaos.
I could see it working in like Necromunda, like you're fighting like the rat that have mutated from like the sewers.
Smelt rats, which are a thing. Check out our 40 facts on the smelt rats. They're gross. Have you ever heard of like the Rat King stuff, like in certain sewers?
Oh yeah, where it's just like a bunch of rats. Like,
how do they like how does that happen? Somebody comment down below, explain that to me. Also, how do you kill a beaver? This question comes from Chicken Waffles. If you and all your subscribers of One Mind Syndicate believe in the spirit of Bridget B, would she manifest as a warp entity, and will she suck up our souls after we die? I hope so. I don't think there's enough of us.
Right. It's got to be like a huge collective because obviously there are the gods of chaos and there's a whole bunch of minor gods, and you really need like a whole race and more to make something transcend into godhood.
Yeah. What we can do right now with the small subscriber count that we have is simply go visit Bridget B's website. She has a podcast now, and just let her know that One Mind Syndicate sent you. She talks about cool stuff.
I'm sure she does.
Yes, she does. Check it out. This question comes from Colin.
Just Colin?
Just Colin.
Quite wholesome.
Could a couple of Primarchs beat a Catan?
Well, yes.
A full Catan.
No shards, full Catan. I'm gonna say no. I was gonna say yes because it's been noted that Cato Sicarius, which is not a Primarch, but he's got a lot of plot armor, took down a Catan shard. He did this using a void grenade. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that a Primarch can take out a full Catan. These Catan were crazy powerful, devouring stars, used as like weapons of war during the War in Heaven. And as strong as a Primarch is, I don't see how they could take out like a near god level threat like that.
Yeah.
Unless plot armor is involved.
Right.
Which it will be because they're Primarchs.
Right.
But it'd be really awesome to have like this epic battle between a Primarch and a Catan, and like they take each other out, and that's like a 100% confirmed death for a Primarch.
Yeah, that would be crazy. In the current lore, to have a full or a guaranteed death.
Yeah, but I think it won't happen because they're not going to bring a Primarch just for it to die.
That's true. It would have to be like some novel, and it has to be somebody that's in like Vulcan. So it's like, oh no, he's a perpetual. He comes back.
Yeah.
This question comes from Poke Fox Betchy. How are massive Tau battlesuits like the Storm Surge and Tau Nar deployed?
It's all through the use of really big, massive vehicles. The Manta, I believe there's like a certain, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a frigate class battleship that just like drops them in. Yeah.
Yep.
Similar to Titans, just not in that scale.
Right.
This one's by Panda Say 25. Why aren't any of the Chaos Gods trying to destroy the Emperor's soul in the warp? If he is to become a god of order, surely there's got to be a sign of him in the warp somewhere that they could take advantage of.
That's a good question, and it's not really been answered because the fact that he's turning into a god hasn't really been answered. It's only been hinted at. But I guess my assumption would be that they are trying to attack him. The Chaos Gods are fighting each other, and it's just nonstop. And maybe that's the reason why he has the Legion of the Damned and he has Living Saints, because on the other side, they are fighting.
Or it could just be that secret little talk they had like way before the Primarchs. Maybe that was a part of the plan. It's like, hey, I'm going to talk to you, Chaos God, so that in the future we could be buddies. Who knows?
Yeah. Or he's hiding in the webway, because essentially that is what the Golden Throne was. It was like a portal to the or it was the Astronomicon, but it was also like the start of a portal to a Imperial-held part of the webway. And that's what Zegra, and that's what like the Harlequins are doing. So you think like if Zegra, who is a god, can hide from the other Chaos Gods, then why can't the Emperor?
Yeah. And it's like, if he is in the webway, why isn't Segura like... They should be working together. Like you got Slanesh and all these. Like the threat's there.
Yeah, unless they are, and we don't know yet.
That's true. That is true.
This one comes from Bra Moment. Are there citizens in the Imperium that have pets like dogs and cats? Yeah, of course. There's a lot of Imperial governors that have like exotic animals, and you just have cyber everything: mastiffs, dogs, chipmunks.
Chipmunks?
Yeah. Not beavers, though.
No, not those.
I exterminated them. Next question.
This one's by Chicken Waffles.
Oh.
What would be your Hispanic orc name?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. Como tú?
Oh, that's a very simple name.
Yep.
I was thinking of like San Juan de la Sierra.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Because it's like Juan, Yep. You gotta mix them in. And of course, he's gotta have the mustache, the sombrero, and the poncho.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm pretty sure that there's third-party kits that have that. What's that? The Sky Crow, I think it is called? Crow Sky? There's a third party that makes orcs with sombreros.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. One day.
Un día.
This is by Goblin Man. He asks, Bridget B, Sister of Battle? Question mark. Yeah, I could see her as like a Cannoness for sure.
Yeah.
She's my Cannoness.
This one's by Bandit Burrito. What do you guys think Warhammer would be like if instead of the 9 traitor Primarchs betraying the Imperium, it was the 9 Loyalist Primarchs who betray the Imperium?
We've talked about this in the past, and that's a really good question that deserves like way more time.
Yeah.
We'll give you a quick synopsis.
The same thing.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
I can't tell you which one it is because I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's been in a bunch of Greater Wall episodes, and I wonder why that's such a popular question.
That's like a theory thing, because like if you think about it, Sanguinius would be the perfect like corrupted individual for Khorne. What's his name? Corvus Corax, right? Not Ravenguard. He would be perfect for like to have the same kind of feel as like Chaos Undivided, so the Alpha Legion. And then you have Vulcan, another Chaos Undivided, Leman Russ. That's still kind of Khorne.
Yeah.
Who would represent like Tzeentch? Yeah, that's the tough one.
That's probably the toughest one.
Slanesh would obviously be, well, he's dead. I was going to say Ferrus Manus.
You'd think that'd be...
Yeah, but like perfection, like the flesh is weak type of thing.
That's true.
But I think, I mean, it deserves a whole video on its own. I think like you can turn a Primarch into a Chaos, whatever.
Right.
Or vice versa. Good question.
Yeah.
Gets the juices flowing. Next one comes from
T-Swim92.
Cool.
Do you think Games Workshop will ever reboot some of their defunct miniature lines, like the Praetorian Guard, the Squats, the Zotes, etc.?
Of course.
You think so?
Yeah, but not for 40K, not tabletop 40K, but they will for Blackstone, because they already did.
Yeah, but like I'm seeing a bunch of like miniatures going to like Last Chance or Made to Order, and it's like, oh, like these miniatures are going away forever, especially in Forge World. That seems to happen a lot in Forge World.
That is true.
Like the Crutox, the chicken Tyrannosaurus Rex thing, those are badass.
Those were badass.
And they're gone, which means like they're not gonna get rules and the new editions, and if you have one, it's like, well, you spent all that money, you played with it for this time, and that's it. It belongs on the shelf.
Yeah, that's the only example of GW doing that, right?
Yeah.
And it's, well, I mean, I guess it's Forge World, not GW. But they even had rules in 5th edition for a whole mercenary crew army.
Right. Is that what's going to happen to the Classic Marines?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't buy Classic Marines, would you?
Not right now, no.
Yeah, no. So, yeah. Bummer.
It is a bummer.
Last question.
This one's interesting, by Colonel Kablooey. If Khorne invaded Terra and successfully conquered it, what do you think he would do with the Emperor's skull? Would he turn it into a goblet and drink from it? Would it sit at the very top of a skull pile? Or would he do something mundane, like a doorstop or a kickball?
I think he would do something mundane just to prove the point of, like, I'm a god.
Like, look at you. You're supposed to be like this big thing, and you're holding my door open.
Basically.
Yeah. I think it'd be even better to use like the Emperor's body bones as like a means of a weapon. So it's like, oh, you spent all this time trying to push humanity forward. Now I'm going to use you as a means to destroy.
That would be badass too. Like use his like forearm or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Like a weapon. If I got a human skull and I scrimshawed for the Emperor, would you guys buy that? That's actually really cool. That'd be a good concept for like a fan something or another. Yeah. Ooh, like Dorn's hand. Like if Chaos got Dorn's hand, that's supposed to be like sacred or whatever, and did something with that, would be cool. Yeah. Those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening.
No, you go. You always go first. No,
this is Crucial One.
This is the Sound Alchemist overstepping his boundaries. Now I'm gonna get whipped, and we are. Well, let's just hold on a little bit because that's less time that I'm gonna be getting whipped. Bye.
Oh, if you could put my